clapping.
Oh, yeah, you can go.
Oh, did we clap already?
No.
No,
Okay.
you can do another one. You're better than me.
I replaced Christian as the clapper. So the last couple of weeks around here were a bit different because August is kind of vacation week, at least in Portugal. And so we've had a good portion of our team on vacation, and also we've had the kids home on vacation, on summer vacation. So yeah, you know, all normal like routines have kind of gone out the window, but it's been fun. We did get quite a few things done. We finished the arch projects that we had started last chapter, so you guys get to see kind of what that looks like. You guys will get to know our pets a little bit more. So we have 4 dogs, 2 cats, some ducks and some chickens at the moment. We hope to have many more in the future, but that's what we have now. We also started an experiment. We have chickens. We would like to have many more chickens in the future, but given their current residence right now that is not particularly large, we are waiting. We had them out free-ranging on a pasture. Well, I guess sort of free-ranging, enclosed free-ranging. But they were getting attacked by, there are birds of prey here, so they were getting attacked by that. So we had to put them back into like a little, I don't know, shed thing, you know, chicken coop. So we have plans for a bigger chicken coop, but we are waiting for authorization for that to be able to move forward. The point being, we would very much like to minimize the amount of feed that we give them. So we already give them our kitchen scraps, but I was reading about kind of other ways to feed them without, you know, buying big bags of feed. And the 2 of the main ones were soldier fly larvae and mealworms. And I was reading that the mealworms are a little bit more, they're not so seasonal. So we started a mealworm experiment. We're going to try to have kind of a mealworm mini production facility to be able to feed the chickens. We'll see how that goes. We'll keep you guys updated on that as we move along. We bought these like a bank of drawers, essentially, of these plastic drawers from IKEA. And the idea is the top drawer, which is where the beetles will be, which is what lay the eggs that become the mealworms. You have to have a mesh on the bottom, so something like this, to allow for the eggs that are laid to go through to the drawer bucket beneath it. Extra. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to clean it out and let it dry, and then we will come back for this. Okay, we are here with our mealworms. They just got delivered today. They were like 4 days late, so we were worried that they might not be alive, but they showed up intact and happy. So, well, I don't know if they're happy, but we'll see. So anyway, this is what we ended up with after putting it together, and it seems very, you know, solid. I think it'll be great. So now we just have to put them in. And then, I will show you all the goodies. So we ordered a 1/2 kilo of these guys. because I was reading about it and it was like many thousands for per kilo, like 14,000 or something like that. So I figured a half kilo is sufficient. So we just put like I think we probably need a little bit more. Yeah. Like a decent layer of, we're using organic oats because it's something that I can get here relatively easily. And it's one of the things they like to eat. And then we're going to put these guys in here. You want to, let's see how that's going to happen. Zoink. Ooh, so many. Oh my gosh.
A lot of worms.
That's awesome. I bet we're going to need to make another one of these. I think that's probably too many for them to
That's
be
a
in the
lot.
same one. Oh my gosh.
You can just let nature take its course and some will die.
It's amazing. Okay, so that's a lot of mealworms.
That's a lot of mealworms.
Holy moly.
Guys, I found one on the table.
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
Cool.
They maybe
Get away,
they-
Skate. You almost got away. Yeah, we can't hit it up behind that thing, right? So escape.
No, it was just to get them out.
Yeah.
Come on. I know you guys really like your box. I think that's it. All right. So then I will put this, maybe like this, so these guys can all kind of go down. And then the last step, which is, well, at least according to the videos that I've watched about this, because this is definitely an experiment, is apparently for drinking, for moisture, you don't put water in there. You put things like carrots or potatoes or things like that have a lot of moisture content in them. I actually saved those ones out that looked like they might not be great for eating, but perfect for feeding these guys or watering these guys. Anyway, so then we're just I'm going to stick it under this because right now I'm just leaving this here so they can leave. But basically like wet side up was what I saw. And I'll put these guys in here. So looking at how many worms we have right now, I think I'm probably going to make another top worm bin.
Yep.
Just because there are tons and I imagine that they need a little bit more space than that. So that's it. Next, I'm going to take this package from IKEA and put together their like kind of shelf thing that the drawer is going to. So I will do that and show you guys that, and then we'll put these guys in their home. Is there more?
Yep, it's all good. They're coming out of the cracks.
All right, so now I'm going to put together the shelving unit. Make sure I get all the stuff out of here. Zoink, zoink, zoink. Cool. Looking good. These guys will go in the top section. And then the idea being that there's this mesh here holding them up. We will be, feeding these guys and maturing them into beetles. They will make eggs. All of the eggs will fall into here. Once this guy is full of eggs, like once we've left it for some amount of time, and we'll have to experiment with that, then we would actually switch these guys, let these guys come down here to mature. But the idea is to have for each bin, or for each system that we're making, we would have 5 bins. So we'd have the beetle bin plus 4 worm bins at different levels of maturity, essentially. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. That's our experiment for today. rescued our trampoline 4 or 5 months ago. We had a crazy windstorm here that took down our satellite dish, flipped over our trampoline onto some grape stanchions, and really did a number on it. It like bent all sorts of things and ripped a hole in the mat and all of that. And so we got some replacement parts and did some surgery on the trampoline, but the kids are super excited and they've been bouncing pretty much nonstop since we fixed that.
Hello ladies. How you guys doing? Hi. So we're doing a repair job.
Yeah, even a little bit of the outside.
Yeah. No, I mean it really got messed up. Well, bugs like water, love. Hold on, we gotta get them over these.
The one other thing that we did this last couple of weeks, we harvested kilos and kilos and kilos and kilos of tomatoes, and show you a little bit about what we've been doing to try to use up that many tomatoes and the cooking that we've been doing for this week. So we don't make a lot of our own of that, so it's been doing okay. Is that it? Yeah. I forgot the best part. Well, so last episode was called the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we had a little bit of the I don't know whether it's bad or ugly, somewhere in between there. So I went up to the nursery and the greenhouse and was messing around looking at what we had done so far with the irrigation, and it's not going to work. So all of the time that we put into like finding the right everythings, we just don't have the water pressure for it. So we have another option. This was a Joel and Shayna collaborative effort to figure out, and we're going to see how it goes. We're going to give it a shot. We'll show you kind of the issues that we've been having, and then in the future we'll hopefully be showing you when it works, which hopefully won't be too long from now. And there goes Margot. Actually, it should be, well, either way. Come on. There you go. All right. I think that one's also supposed to be... All right, so if you see this, it looks mostly good, but two things. Well, actually more than two things. So I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see, but these little nozzles, they say they're 360. They're totally not. They're basically like 120 in two different directions, but then they leave like a good amount of space on the sides. So what we had decided to do was to alternate them. So we would have one like this, one like this, one like this, one like this, so it would kind of cover everything. But we found that they move a lot. So even if you set them up perfectly like that, it doesn't mean that that's how they're going to stay, probably with like the water pressure and things like that. So we've been having issues, like for example, this right here. Now we have two that are straight, like two like this instead of one like this and one like this. And we didn't change anything. And this one's kind of like that. So that's one of the things. So in order to cover everything, we really needed it to be kind of properly aligned, and it's changing. Also, we found that these guys are pretty mobile, and we wanted to give them that kind of flexibility because we would like to be able to pull them up and down depending on how high like how tall the plants are. But then that means that if it's windy or something, these things, turn, which also means that we get some plants that don't get watered. So those are probably things we could have gotten around, but now I will show you the actual big problem. Woohoo! So now I'm sure you can see a bit about how the pressure has changed. Obviously, because we're now spreading it over 4 rows instead of 2 rows. The problem being that now it's not getting to, for example, it's hitting this row, not that row. So we're missing, a third of the plants because we're getting a bit to this side. But since this one also isn't going very far, it's not getting here or here. So we're not having the kind of coverage that we need. And it actually is worse back there because it's towards the end of the line. So anyway, that's the issue here. We actually have similar issues in the greenhouse. It's not as bad. I think that one we'll probably be able to figure out. That's just the thing. We'll show you afterwards, but the thing of things moving, because if you have to go every day to like check exactly where the nozzles are pointing, that kind of defeats the purpose of having something automated. I guess it helps a little bit. It does save time, but it's still like a time sink, and that we're trying to not have. Anyway, so we have a couple of ideas about this particular issue. But we're going to be doing some brainstorming because this was a ton of work, and we put a lot of money in it and everything, and so we don't want to have to do it again. But basically, one of the things we were already starting to do is on the rows here, like in between. We actually started planting a particular type of grass that's like a low-growing, spreading grass. So we did an experiment to see if it would work well in this area. We have some weeds growing into it because it hasn't made a very a thick layer yet. But this is the grass. And the idea is that it would be a weed suppression layer. So that's the plan for these. And it's actually been working out really well. It seems to be taking, like these we had planted like every, 20 centimeters or 8 inches apart or something, and they're already starting to fill in, and they've only been there for maybe a month or so. So that's the plan for that. And then on these hills right here, the idea is to plant some wild strawberries. So, the reason I'm telling you that is because the reason that we were trying to make the watering very like localized to these rows was because we didn't want to be watering weeds. We didn't want to make the weeds happy. But now if we actually are going to be able to do this where we are covering pretty much all of the surfaces with things that we actually want to water and that we want to grow, and that would suppress weeds in the areas where we don't want them, we actually would need to figure out how to water them anyway. Like the strawberries and the grass, we would still need to water. So one of the ideas is basically get a pole, put a pole in a few different areas, and just have a regular kind of 360 sprinkler on top. That's what we're going to try next. In the future, we're going to have this fed by a different water source that's farther up the hill. And with that, we may have the kind of pressure that we would need to make this work, but that's not going to be for a while. So anyway, yeah, let me turn these off, and then I'll take you guys over to the greenhouse and show you the situation in there. So you guys are looking at the system that we have, semi set up here in the greenhouse. So we're having the same issue with the rotating nozzles. The other issue is, as you guys might be able to see here, we have vining plants in here, and they are growing up the wires that are holding down, and then they block they block the spray. So this guy has vined up this and now is blocking. So now we have a whole area right here that's not getting it just because it's being blocked by some vining plants. And we have that kind of all the way along. Like this one's even worse. It's barely doing anything. And obviously, like, we can figure other things out for the vining plants, but that's not the only issue. So I don't know exactly what we're going to do in here. It's a little bit less urgent because, as you can tell, like, this is a much smaller area than the nursery as a whole. So this is not something that takes too much time to, like, kind of come in and water what hasn't been watered. Also, I tend to spend more time in here anyway because these are our baby plants. They need a little bit more attention. I need to kind of make sure that everything's going well. So, having to come in here every once in a while or more frequently isn't as big of a deal. We'll do it again and try to find some other options for our systems here. But yeah, that's it. I mean, other than that, everything's doing really well in here. So, it is helping. It makes it so it doesn't take nearly as long to water, but it's not a finished system. So anyway, that was all. I wanted to show you guys a little bit about the challenges that we've been having, and hopefully soon we'll be able to get it all worked out and I'll be able to show you guys the beautiful finished system that has no problems. But yeah. We're going to call this full disclosure. Hi, Casey. And we have some buddies with us today because I just want you guys to have like a general idea about how things work here and like kind of our situation. I know there are a lot of people doing this in different ways, and just so, yeah, you guys know how we're doing it. So Joel, who's my husband, he still brings in a full-time salary. And that is the reason that we were able to do a lot of the stuff that we're doing here. We could do a lot of this for a lot less money if we were doing it kind of just for ourselves. But our idea here is a project that we can share with people and have things like courses and workshops and community events and all of those things. So it's a bigger project. My parents, after about a year after we moved here as well. They're here part-time. They still spend part-time in California with my brother and his family, but they bought the quinta next door. I mean, they've been support in all sorts of ways. They've been emotional support, they've been financial support, they help with the kids. We couldn't continue doing this without them. So we do have familial support as well. We've met some really great friends here when we first moved, and they helped us find, where to go to buy certain things. And when I say buy certain things, I mean like everyday things. And she just took me around the whole place and kind of helped me get oriented. Also, we have a permaculture consultant because I am doing my PDC course right now, and I've done a huge amount of reading and research and all of that, but I couldn't do this without him. I call him my fairy godfather because not only does he just help with everything, he has a quinta as well, and he invites me over to get cuttings of everything, and he's just so generous with everything, and he's been a huge help and a huge support. Our employees, we have wonderful employees, and it's a bit hard. One of the things that's a bit challenging in Portugal right now is finding people to work, because a lot of people go abroad, to Belgium or France or things like that to find work. And I don't know how it happened, serendipitously. We couldn't have found better people. They're kind of family-like here. They care about the project as much as we care about the project, and it shows in everything they do. So anyway, that was quite a long version of that, but I just wanted to tell you guys and make it very obvious that we are not doing this on our own. We have lots of support and lots of help in all sorts of ways. So yes, that's Quinta Silvestre. That was our 2 weeks. So a couple, well, really mainly one kind of announcement. Basically, like getting ready for me to be doing this on my own. We're going to have a schedule of every 2 weeks. We haven't decided exactly yet whether it's going to be like Friday or a Saturday or Sunday, but we'll figure that out. And that also allows for us to have a bit more time to spend on some of the extra, I say extra content, but it's really, not exactly extra, like some other content outside of the chapters. So right now we have in the works the farm tour. We have an introduction to our recipe session. We're going to be doing a sourdough video really soon. So in order to give us more time to kind of pay attention and edit and film all of that stuff as well as the chapters, we're going to do an every 2 week thing. And I hope that is how that will work moving forward. Oh, one other thing, because that's what I wanted to ask about. I'm also going to do, because of a lot of feedback, a little short video about some of the cultural differences that we've figured out since we've been here. For example, this is a silly one, but like I didn't know how dentists would work here, so that was a question that I had, but I didn't have anybody to ask. So anyway, whatever kind of questions you guys have about like how life works here or cultural differences or anything like that, if you guys can get those to me in the next, I would say maybe week or so, I'll try to make sure that we incorporate that. Second, I'm going to start with, for the sourdough stuff, I'm going to start with the sourdough starter, but then we'll have a sourdough starter video and a sourdough video. If you guys have any specific questions on either sourdough starters or actually making sourdough, if you guys could also comment those to me as well, I can make sure that I answer. I can make sure that I answer any of the questions that you have. I'll be going through like my entire process and everything, but I did realize I was doing some of this, and there was somebody around that doesn't know like the sourdough process, and there were things that he was asking that was like, oh, and why do you do that? And I didn't even really think about it because it's just something that I do. So I just don't want to miss any like details if you guys are looking for anything in particular. So now I'm getting blinded by the sun because the sunrise has happened. One last thing, and I never thought that it would be me saying this, but you guys have been super supportive and everything. Yeah, man, that's like really hard for me to say. No, if you guys like what you see and you want more, if you guys can subscribe, if you guys have friends who you think would like to see what we're doing out here, if you can share things with them, that would be great, because I don't know all that many people. And all of the people I know are already watching. So if you think that there would be anybody who would get value out of our content, if you could share it, that would help. I think that's it. That was so painful.